Hello and a warm welcome to you. I'm John.
And I'm Maggie.
And we're so delighted to see you here.
We would love to extend a heartfelt invitation to you to join us for the Amiga Shift, our free online video presentation, and discover for yourself the secret of enlightenment. It only takes as long as a movie to share, yet this taste of enlightenment could hold the most profound and joyful realization of your life, touching you and even our world forever.
And we present it in a way that allows you to unravel the mystery for yourself, so you don't have to rely on others or take our word for it. Now, normally when people claim to have the answer, it can always be reduced to something like this. They say, "This is how it is, trust me, I know what I'm talking about."
But uniquely we say, "Oh no, you can be the authority."
Instead of starting with a big picture explanation of the universe and then trying to explain how you and all of us might or might not fit into it, we help you shift your entire frame of reference for reality around instead to you first. And from there, you see, you can instantly enlighten yourself as to how easily the big picture can fit neatly into you and your consciousness.
And you can decide how far this new frame of reference works for you. So, this is profoundly significant for our entire world now, and in a way, it's the culmination of our whole evolution.
Which is why we call it the Amiga Shift. Amiga often representing the end.
Because it recognizes and embraces a transition into what is perhaps our final phase of enlightening human consciousness and learning to be all that we can be.
Hello again and welcome back to the Amiga Shift presentation.
We are so excited and delighted that you have joined us here on this epoch-making and unique adventure into the great mystery of our fabulous consciousness. So, let's introduce a little bit more of ourselves first. John?
Well, my passion and quest has always been to unravel and reveal the spectacular abilities of our consciousness and our existence. For example, when I was 19, I was excited to take a year out of my university degree in computer science to hitchhike to India in my search, where I had a vision of precisely how we are creating our reality together out of our own consciousness. So for the last 30 years, I have been quietly developing and refining a unique step-by-step process of understanding for the Amiga Shift that I call the knowledge. But this shift is not just something that you see and understand with your mind, and this is where Maggie comes in.
Yes, because I've always experienced a natural love for life, and even from an early age, as I grew up in southwest Scotland, I've always been an absolute wonder and awe at the beauty of nature and creation. But everything I've ever gone through has always led me deeper and deeper into learning how to open up to that pure love.
Our approach is for you to actually experience this secret, rather than just being told about it or being pumped full of new beliefs or rehashed old ideas. Like going on a trial flying lesson rather than just being told about flying.
So we need your participation to join in, for you to completely shift your frame of reference. Now, if at any point you find yourself getting confused or disorientated, or have different feelings coming up, or even you're not following 100%, it's okay. Just let it all flow through you. Keep with it. There's a lot going on, and just see where it takes you.
Just don't jump ahead. Everyone says they need to absorb all the steps to make the shift. Right, now I'm going to get us started with the knowledge. We're going to start with how we normally see reality, using something we're very familiar with, playing a board game like chess, and then progressively shift your frame of reference and perception around in an extensive 9-step exercise to gently guide you through the shift. Now don't worry, there's no need to understand the rules of chess. Just play along with us. Really use your imagination. It's not hard, but it will significantly help you experience the Amiga shift. So now you need to check that you have enough time to complete this with no risk of interruption, or please pause the video and come back later. Take the phone off the hook, put up whatever do not disturb notices you need, and so on. This could be perhaps the most important hour of your life. So, we're going to play chess. Right, here's the chessboard, so do join in and pretend to play chess with me. How about you play white and I'll play black? Now, we're going to need some help for you to play with me, so Maggie's here to help you make your moves and answer some questions. Let's put on some hats to help with our roles. Again, this is an experiential process, so do join in to the best of your ability. Here, imagine putting on your white hat. So make your first move. Say king's pawn forward 2 spaces. Here, let's help you do that. Your hand moves out and the pawn moves forward. And now you've made your first move. Now, even though there's only one chessboard and one move, it's important for us to recognize that what you see and what I see are different. You see in your reality first your white pieces, then the board, then my black pieces, then me as black, of course, on the other side, with your white pawn moving away from you. But mine's quite a different perspective. In my reality, well, I see my black pieces, then the board, then your white pieces, then you as white, and the same white pawn, but now moving towards me. It's the same move, but we have 2 different experiences or perspectives in our 2 personal realities. Now let's look at what's going on here. I'm going to ask you some questions, and I'd like you to join in and consider the answers. And if you'd really like to take your time to consider, please pause the video and continue with your answer and hear ours. Maggie will help you with some possible answers. Now first, what's the aim of the game of chess?
To win.
Good. And how do we win?
Well, by battling our little armies of chess pieces to eventually checkmate or kill our opponent's king.
Yes, our relationship is pretty competitive and distant, isn't it? We have opposing objectives centered around us as individuals. So describe how you think of yourself. Who are you in this?
Well, I'm a distinct individual and I'm in my body, in here, definitely separate from you, from out there. I'm fighting, defending my side on my own.
And where is the other player? Me.
You are out there, separate and distinct from me, on the other side of the chessboard, obviously.
Yes, I'm your opponent and you're trying to kill me. And the chessboard is our playground, our battleground, and of course it sits between us. So our normal frame of reference is that you and I are 2 distinct and separate individuals living in and across one physical universe that's out there. You're over there, I'm over here, across the chessboard and the world that sits between us. Simple enough, but trouble is this normal frame of reference leaves so many of our questions unanswered, not least of which is, what is consciousness and where does that come from? Let's now make our second step in the knowledge towards the Amiga shift with what we'll call cooperative chess. Now imagine instead that you're playing a young child who's learning to play chess. Pretend that I'm the child and that you're helping me play. Let's look at how the experience of playing chess differs. What's the aim of the game now?
I guess it's to enjoy helping the child learn to play chess.
And how are you going to do that?
Well, I'd help the child make their moves.
Good. And how are you going to do that?
I'd help them see the impact of their moves and how to best play out their game.
Good. And what ability do you need to do that?
Well, I'd have to be able to appreciate and play from their viewpoint.
Exactly. To actually imagine seeing the board and the moves from the other player's side of the board. Of course, to play well, that's exactly what good chess players have to do. So, what's your relationship with the other player like now?
Well, much less out there on the other side of the chessboard. I feel we're much less separate. You know, more like we're playing as one.
Right. And what about who wins?
Oh, well, I guess it doesn't really matter anymore who wins and loses.
Good. So let's take a look at what more we know about ourselves now. And this is the first of several principles of knowledge, of knowing in the knowledge. So look very carefully at what we can know for sure purely by observation within our own experience. See, we've observed that we actually are able to play from another point of view, and that the enjoyment is in playing and sharing, not necessarily in the winning, and that two distinct players can play more like one. Now, where can we take this next in our progression towards our new frame of reference? Let's go on to step number 3. Let's imagine now that you're locked up in solitary confinement with only a chessboard, table, 2 chairs and absolutely nothing else, except intriguingly, a white and a black hat. Now, what do you suppose you'd actually do, assuming you'd like chess?
Well, I suppose I'd play myself at chess.
Well, as both white and black?
Yes.
Now, have you ever done this? Played both sides in a board game like chess?
No, I don't think so.
Well, surprisingly, many people I've asked have actually done this at some time, often in their youth, and can actually do it. But it requires an interesting knack and some special abilities. Let's talk through it. How are you going to arrange things physically when you change from white to black?
Oh, I'd probably switch chairs.
And why is that?
To help change roles and get into the part.
Good. Now imagine doing this with me. Here you are as white. Imagine putting your white hat on and playing. I'll get out of your way for a while to help you imagine that you really are on your own. You can see your hand moving your own white pawn away from you, towards black. Imagine so vividly you can almost see black over there. So as white you get to see the white pawn moving away from you. But again, from black's perspective, it's like a whole different game. Let's take a look. Now pretend to be black. And pretend to walk around the table, sit down on black's side, put your black hat on. There's the board. But now with the black pieces nearest and the white pieces are over there. Of course, as black, you see the white pawn has moved towards you. Again, one game seen from 2 different perspectives. Okay, I'll come back now. Let's talk about it. Now, what special abilities do you need to pull this off? Let's call it solo chess.
Well, obviously to imagine being the other player, to really step into their shoes.
Yes, good. In effect, you play out another role, another person. But how are you actually going to make the game work?
I'd have to really focus in on being in each role.
Yes, and what special ability must you employ to achieve that?
I guess I'd have to forget my previous role.
Yes, you must forget what your other role has been planning. When you're white, you must forget what you've been cooking up as black. Now, do you think this is possible? I mean, given time, could you do this? Don't forget, you've got nothing else to do.
Well, yes, I guess I could.
As I say, many people I ask have actually done this, and surprisingly have had quite an enjoyable game as a result. So, what would be the point of playing yourself at chess?
Well, I'm in solitary confinement and I wouldn't want to get bored, so this would give me something fun and interesting to do.
Absolutely. And how good could you get at this over time with enough practice?
I think I would get pretty excellent at it.
Do you think you could possibly become so involved and engrossed that you might even sometimes think of the other player as a separate, distinct opponent?
Yes, I think so with time.
Even though part of you always knows it's just you?
Yes.
Well done. So, here's a lot more we now know by observation through playing solo chess. Number 1, we don't like being alone, bored and inactive. That's why solitary confinement is considered such a harsh punishment. So our natural tendency is to occupy ourselves. Number 2, it actually is possible to play yourself at chess, to play both white and black roles. And number 3, we have a special ability to do it, to partition our oneself into 2 separate roles in one game, to fully take on both viewpoints and then swap between them. And crucially, number 4, to forget the other perspective and plans for a moment, and to create the idea of part of ourselves as other, that's distinct and over there, even though part of you knows it's not really out there, it's just you, and that you're only trying to defeat yourself. Now, we've gone as far as we can with a physical chessboard out there, and it's actually hard to shift your frame of reference as long as you have that in your awareness. So, can you guess where we're going to go, what we're going to do with this next? Well, what happens when you take the chessboard away? Let's bring another player back for now, but drop the physical chessboard and play step number 4, virtual chess. Let's say that we're both in solitary confinement with nothing but a computer that plays chess, and we can play each other across the internet on our 2 computer screens. Now all you can see, because the rest of the cell is white, is this chessboard on the screen. We can even have webcams, if you like, to see and hear each other while we play. Let's set it up in your imagination. On the computer screen there's a perspective picture of the chessboard. The white pieces are nearest and the black pieces on the other side. You move your white pawn and you see it moving away from you. You see my black pawn moving towards you, and you see me on the webcam saying, "Take that, sucker," and you make your white move, and so the virtual game goes on, and it goes well. Now, again, if you really were in solitary confinement with a computer and nothing else to do, would you do this, given that you like chess?
Of course.
And what's the biggest difference between virtual chess and physical chess?
We don't need a physical chessboard to play chess?
Exactly. So where is the chessboard?
In the computer?
Yes, but not a real physical chessboard, just an idea held in the computer that's only ever experienced as 2 perspectives, whites and blacks, yours and mine. And can you enjoy virtual chess just as much without a physical chessboard?
Yes. We can still play the game just as well.
And if you played enough, you got really engrossed, would the game become as good as physical chess?
Absolutely. I can really imagine that. In fact, I might actually forget that it's not real.
And supposing you had played for a long time, and you just reached the end game with just a few pieces left, and it was getting a bit challenging, would you want to shrink away from it and step out of the game?
Oh no, that would defeat the whole point of the game.
Exactly.
And put me straight back into solitary confinement. I would want to actually finish what I had started.
Good. So, what more can we now know by observation from playing virtual chess? Well, number 1, we don't actually need a physical chessboard to play a game like chess. Number 2, the chessboard is only an idea that's ever seen from each player's point of view. And number 3, this is a virtual game which is just as good as physical chess, and so we can enjoy it, well, just as much, as long as we have the equipment to play it out on. So that's our 4th step in the knowledge and our journey towards the Amiga shift. Now, let's go on to the next step by combining these 2 previous scenarios of solo chess and virtual chess to play number 5, solo virtual chess. Now, we've already taken away the chessboard. Now we're going to take away the other player again. Because you see, the guards realise that you're not really in solitary confinement. Why? You're having too much fun with me. So they take away the internet link, but they give you the second computer. So imagine that you now have 2 PCs, one for white and one for black, on either side of you, over here and over here, with you in the middle on the swivel chair. Now, we'll have white on your left and black on your right, and you have a white hat and a black hat for each role. So start off as white and imagine putting on your white hat to reinforce the role. There's your perspective on the game, white piece is nearest. Make your now classic move. You see your white king's pawn moving away on the screen and you say, "I like that move." Now come back to center, put on your black hat and swivel over to your right and take a look at the screen that's already set up for black. There's even an audio-video delay to see and hear what you just said on your last move. And as you go into being black now, you see white's pawn coming towards you, with a video of white, the white you, with the white hat on saying, "I like that move." As black, you make your move saying, "Take that, sucker." Swivel back to the first screen. As white, see black's move and hear black's sucker comment. And settle down now on deciding your next move. And so here we are. combining solo chess, the ability to play yourself, with virtual chess, the ability to make an image of a chessboard on a screen seem real. So now again, could you do this, given you like chess?
Of course. I'm just combining the ability to play myself solo with the realism of virtual chess played on the screen.
Good. Well, so that's step number 5, solo virtual chess, where we have observed that we can have the experience of playing chess perfectly well, even without a physical chessboard, and no other player. Now, can you imagine where we're going to go next with this? What's the final thing we can do in this exploration of chess?
Just to leave me with one PC?
Nope. Take them both away. Because now your captors see what fun you're still having, and they take away both the computers. They remove the screens, the tables, even the hats, and they leave just the swivel chair. Now imagine, what are you going to do now? Imagine what you would do in this position, still in solitary confinement. Yes, imagine. Of course, your imagination. We've been using that all along, haven't we? We do have a powerful imagination, don't we? We've just imagined acting out all these chess exercises, for example. Wouldn't your imagination be well and truly let loose if you had nothing else to do? Assume you had mastered solo virtual chess. How would you carry on playing?
Use my imagination?
Whoa, yes, of course you would. Let's use our imagination right now. So this is just like solo virtual chess. Just use the mental screen in your mind instead of the screens of the computers. We'll call it solo mental chess. Let's try it now. Do go along with this because it will really help. So imagine playing solo chess, only this time in your mind. Imagine a chessboard over here, on the left of your awareness, on the left of your mental screen. Focus and move into an experience of playing white. Imagine putting on your white hat. Pretend the chessboard is in front of you as vividly as you can. You may like to close your eyes to do this. Imagine the scene with the white pieces, they're near you, and the black pieces, they're on the far side. See it, feel it, or just know it's there. Imagine it in any way that works for you. Can you imagine it there? Now, imagine you are actually white. Make your usual move. See your hand go out. Ever seen your hand in a dream? I have. Now feel the white piece between your fingers. Ever felt things in a dream? You see your white pawn moving away from you, 2 spaces. You look over the chessboard and there's black sitting opposite you with his black hat on, and you say to black, your move. Now, you're going to withdraw your attention from there, but leave. Imagine leaving white's chessboard and scenario there on your mental screen to the left of your awareness, ready to come back to later. So come back to center again, leaving white over there on the left. Now, you're going to play black. Now focus in on the right hand side of your mental screen. Imagine now you're playing black. Put your black hat on. Visualize, sense the chessboard laid out in front of you with the black pieces nearest. Look up and see white behind the board. She moves her pawn forward towards you, 2 spaces, and she says, your move. And it's your turn. What are you going to do? Why, you see your hand reaching out. You feel your black pawn as you pick it up, and you move it forward 2 spaces, away from you on your imaginary chessboard towards your imaginary white opponent. Now, let your attention pull back to center again, back to you in solitary confinement. Go back left again into white's perspective. Imagine putting that white hat on again. There's the chessboard just as you left it, and there's black moving his black pawn towards you, attacking. And so you see, these 2 players continue playing out the game in your imagination on 2 partitions of your mental screen. Okay, come back to center again with your eyes open. Now, did you manage to imagine your way through that?
Yes, I did. It wasn't as hard as I thought.
And you made your moves with your pieces going away from you, and even imagine your opponent's moves coming towards you?
Yes, all clearly there.
So, would it be possible to actually play solo mental chess on your mental screen? I mean, if you really were in solitary confinement, I mean, you might start with tic-tac-toe or noughts and crosses and work up to it?
Yes, it might take a while, but I believe it is.
Aha, but you have all the time in the world to practice, and do you think you might get pretty good at it? I mean, being able to keep track of all the pieces and the moves and the game plans?
Well, yes. In time, if I put my mind to it, I'm sure I could. Perhaps it's like losing your sight or hearing. They say your other senses get more acute.
Yes, and in this case, all the senses would be denied, leaving only imagination and memory to be heightened. So, would you do this, or something like it?
Yes, I think I would.
Why would that be?
Well, I have nothing else to do, so to keep busy, entertained, and explore my own potential.
Yes, and keep away from the boredom and emptiness of solitary confinement. I say it's natural to avoid a void, because we all abhor a bore. So, could the experience become quite vivid and realistic?
Yes.
As vivid as going to the cinema, say?
Yes.
As vivid and real as a dream, say?
Yes.
Well, where do dreams play out?
In our mind.
Where in our mind?
Well, on the mental screen of our awareness.
Yes, the same mental screen of imagination for playing white and black?
Well, yes, I guess it is. Where else could it be?
Indeed. So, recognizing that in dreams all the senses are involved, and dream reality can seem as real as physical reality, is our mental screen powerful enough and all you need to create a realistic experience of solo mental chess?
Yes, I think I could get very good at it.
Powerful enough to seem as real as playing physical chess?
Well, yes, while I'm actually playing white or black, that is.
Right, obviously not real to the you in solitary confinement. And all that self-contained within you, within your consciousness, on your mental screen.
Oh, I see. It's awesome.
Yes, it's pretty impressive stuff, isn't it? So from playing solo mental chess, what more do we know by observation? Well, that imagination is powerful enough and sufficient to create a realistic reality experience, all self-contained within you. It's like we're creating a miniature universe of a game of chess, with one chessboard, or one idea of a chessboard, and two participants, each with their own mini-universe that they play the game in. Just by playing out 2 points of view, black and white, in two partitions of our own mind on our amazing mental screen, in our own consciousness. So you're right, that is awesome. It's a complete system of reality unto itself that needs no external support at all. And that while you are playing black and white, can actually be indistinguishable from the original physical chess we started off with, just like in a dream, or rather, two simultaneous dreams. Now, some killer questions coming up. Who plays white in one word?
Me?
Yes. And black?
Me.
Correct. And who is it that sets the game up?
Me again.
Haha. And who creates the desire and the idea of chess in the first place?
I do. Me.
Good. Now, as white say, what's that whole chessboard scene made of?
My own imagination?
Which is made out of what?
My consciousness. Me.
Exactly. Notice a pattern here. It's always the same one being. Me. And yet, there are different versions of me around. It's confusing, isn't it? So, let's introduce some new terms. What should we call the me that plays white?
Little me?
How about Mini-Me?
Oh yes, that would be fun. Mini-Me white.
Yes, and Mini-Me black. How about that? And the me in solitary confinement that decides to play chess.
How about Maxi-Me?
That'll do nicely. So, who gets to set the whole game up?
Me as Maxi-Me.
But who gets to actually play and get lost in the roles white and black?
Me again, as Mini-Me white and Mini-Me black.
So, go back into being Mini-Me white right now. You're playing a move well lost in the game, okay? Now, do you feel any less you when you're playing this Mini-Me role?
No, I don't. I'm just as much as me as before.
Good. And do you feel any diminished or separate from Maxi-Me you?
No, not at all. It's just a role I'm playing.
And when as Mini-Me white you look across the chessboard and imagine Mini-Me black over there on the other side, you can recognize that it's all made of your on your own mental screen, of your own consciousness. So what can you say about your game and Black's true nature?
Oh, this is all me.
Exactly. And who is Maxi-Me?
Oh yes, still me, even when I'm Mini-Me.
Even when you're Mini-Me. So you are all one and yet also distinct Mini-Me's.
Oh, I see. We're all the same one me. What joy!
That's right. It's always the same me. All roles are played by the same one being.
And yet, at the same time, many me's can feel separate as distinct individuals.
Exactly. Now, imagine that Black is always attacking you, never letting you build up a good defensive position, and that you start to get angry at Black's behavior towards you. Now, obvious question, but who are you getting angry with?
Well, as Mini-Me White,
Mm-hmm.
I'm angry with Black on the other side of the chessboard.
Even though that image of Black only represents another part of you as Mini-Me Black?
Yes, I can only get upset with Black because I put up a barrier between me and Black and a judgment that Black is wrong.
Very good. And are you, as Mini-Me White, bad or wrong to think like that about Black?
Oh no, it's just a natural part of exploring and getting involved in the game.
Good. But if you remember that Black is only you from another point of view, another Mini-Me of you, can you just let it go?
Oh yes, of course, I can. When I remember that it's all only me, I don't have to get so wrapped up and involved and take it so seriously.
Brilliant. Well, okay, that's the end of step number 6, solo mental chess. And we've taken really chess as far as we need to and as far as we can. So, take a deep breath.
Oh, God. Okay.
We've covered a lot, a long list of truths that we can know by observation, yes? Isn't it amazing how much we can know simply by our own direct experience and observation? Primarily, it's this awesome ability of ours to partition ourselves into Mini-Me's and forget that we're Maxi-Me and create and immerse ourselves in realistic realities that we know are not real, yet we still believe in them in order to play the game out, to act them out or live in them as real, all on our mental screen, which is so much more fun than being alone and bored in solitary confinement, wouldn't you agree? Now notice that we are very good at immersing ourselves in realities that appear on screens, like being scared of monsters in movies. You know they're not real, and yet it's in our nature to conceive of them as real, out there and out to get us. Okay, let's come back to the knowledge and step number 7. Now, if you really were in solitary confinement and you had this capacity to create miniature universes on your mental screen, what would you do with your newfound abilities? I mean, you might get bored with chess, especially when you've exhausted all the possible games. What about other games with more players? I mean, if you can do it with 2, could you do it with 4 players?
I think so.
Well, like whist or bridge, for example, with 4 players. You could lay them all out on your mental screen. North, south, west and east. Or how about football with 22 players?
Yes, why not?
All laid out on your mental screen. Presumably then with any number of players.
Yes, the only limit would be my imagination.
That's right. Now, do you really want to carry on playing just games? I mean, if you had complete freedom to imagine anything, what would you dream up? I know. How about some sort of paradise? Like a beautiful desert island, say.
Oh yes, sounds good, John.
Okay, let's give it a try. Go into Mini-Me White's old position over here on your left. This will now be your Mini-Me on your about to be created island. Let's call him Adam.
Okay, Mini-Me Adam.
Good, so go into Mini-Me. You become Adam, a lean, fit young man, standing on a perfect sandy beach. The sun is blazing and you feel warm sand between your toes. Can you feel the warm white sand between your toes?
Yes.
Good, and then you look up and you behold the most exotic desert island, surrounded by beautiful crystal clear blue water with a majestic mountain in the centre. There's plenty to explore and so much to discover. Loads of fabulous tropical fruits and vegetables growing freely and abundantly, with tons of fresh fish in the ocean just waiting to be caught. It's a veritable paradise. Could you make this pretty realistic, do you think?
Yes.
As realistic as a dream, say?
Yes, I guess I could.
And to keep it interesting, you could dream up some challenges to throw in as well, like, well, you see a storm coming in, so you build a good shelter and weather the storm, and generally you have a great time. So, in step number 7, Adam's Island, we have observed that our consciousness is not limited. We can imagine what we like on our mental screen. Of course we can. And that a vivid imagination can appear as real as in a dream. That is completely real while you're in it. But what will happen after a while, do you feel?
I'd get bored.
Yes. So what would you want?
A friend.
Yes, you want some company, don't you? Like Robinson Crusoe's Man Friday. It's in our nature to want to share this experience, to share the island. And how can we do that? Well, Maxi-Me is, of course, well set up for just that. Adam is simply a mini-me, and just like chess, why not have 2 on the island? If as Maxi-Me you can create Adam, you can just as easily create Eve. So, let's try it. We'll leave Mini-Me Adam building a fire on the beach, just starting to enjoy a delicious mango he's been saving. So come back to center again as Maxi-Me, and we'll move into step number 8 of the knowledge, Adam and Eve's island. Now Maggie, perhaps you can help us to lead us through introducing Eve to our island.
Oh yes, John. Now focus back into Mini-Me Black's old area over here on your right. And now picture that you are a beautiful young lady, Eve, Mini-Me Eve, dressed in a slinky bikini with a lei of fresh fragrant flowers around your neck, just walking out of the trees and onto the beach. You look up and behold the beach stretched out in front of you. The sun is setting over the water in a glorious display of radiance. And over there, on the far side of the beach, is a dashing young man building a fire, and so you wander over to Adam to introduce yourself.
Now, come back to center again and back into being Mini-Me Adam over here on your left. Your fire is just getting going, and you look up and behold this most stunning girl stepping onto the beach. She's strolling over to you with the most warm and welcoming smile. She says hi, and you say, "Wow, would you like to share some of this exquisite mango with me?" And so Eve sits with you, facing the sunset, enjoying this most perfect vista together. You feed each other this most perfectly ripe, juicy, delicious, and luscious mango. And you realize that sharing this mango moment together with Eve, with the beach, the sunset, and the whole island is so much better than enjoying it on your own. Now, this incredible experience of your island and the attraction of each other draws you both right into the realism of this true Garden of Eden experience. So come back to center now as Maxi-Me. Creating Eve has not only provided Adam with company to multiply the enjoyment, but it's really validated the whole experience, making it the whole adventure seem even more real, and has made it truly meaningful with another real person to interact with. So there you are, 2 mini-me's, 2 people, sharing one idea of an island, living in peace and harmony, living happily ever after. Or do you? Go right back into being Adam again over here on your left. Now, this Garden of Eden type experience is so captivating and entrancing that you find yourself becoming more and more engrossed and gradually forget who you both are and how the whole island experience works. Soon the island and Eve have become very, very real, separate and distinct from you, solid, physical and hard, and that both the island and Eve are not, well, not you. But what's happened is that your frame of reference has shifted from being simply Maxi-Me in solitary confinement out to the island. And the more you feel that you are lost in some real world out there, the more you come to believe that your island, your world, has power over that mini-me you. And then more and more your own island, reality, begins to reflect back to you that power that you've given it, closing in, looming menacingly around you, and suddenly there are storms, floods, wild animals to contend with, and that even though it is all your own creation, the island starts to take on the appearance of being lord over you. And suddenly it's not such fun anymore, and you find yourself getting lost and bewildered. You even start having arguments and fighting with beautiful Eve. And if you end up hurting Eve, who are you really hurting? Think about it. Isn't hurting another actually wounding yourself? But you know what? This forces you to search for the truth of yourself again, the truth of the island. And you look for the answer here, there and everywhere, up the mountain, in the skies and in heaven above. But always, always you're searching in the island experience. And because the answer can't be found in there, in the end you just feel exhausted by it all. But one day you find yourself with Eve back again at that first beach where you first met, with the sun setting again and the balmy evening breeze blowing again. And it's like that whole scene has been recreated just as it was, before you fully forgot who you were. And as you both gaze into the blazing sunset and listen to the wind rustling in the trees, you share another juicy, delicious and luscious mango. And you both fall back into that exquisite shared mango moment together. And it triggers a very strong memory, a recollection of that first time you did this together at the outset, before you had lost yourself in the island. And for a moment your frame of reference shifts as you slip back into the memory of who you really are as Maxi-Me in the solitary confinement cell, and that you are also Mini-Me Eve, and you remember how the whole island idea works and what the whole point was. And as this memory comes flooding back into you, and you try to hold it in your awareness for a moment, you look out over the island, the ocean and the sunset, and you are totally blown away by the spectacular life and world that you have created in your imagination, and all on your own mental screen, in your own mental theatre. It's like you had your back to the Grand Canyon all your life, looking out over the flat surrounds. You're wondering what all the fuss is about, and finally you just look around and gasp in awe at the spectacular view. And in this case you know that that view is all your own creation, all made actually of you. So you look out over at Eve gazing back at you, and now you don't see somebody out there, over there. Now you just see your own amazing radiant self experiencing another point of view from another point of you, in fact. And as you look into each other's eyes and hold hands and share another bite of the exquisite mango, your heart is bursting with such love for her and the whole of your island creation, and you say to her, "Oh, Eve, my heart, don't you remember who we really are? This is all ours. You and this are all me. It's awesome. We are creating our island out of our own being. We always have been."
And now come out of being Mini-Me Adam and back into Mini-Me Eve over on your right. And there's Adam next to you on the beach, reminding you of the truth of you, your island and your love. And you too start remembering and are totally blown away by the spectacular world that you've both been creating in your imagination. Oh my God, yes, Adam, This is all me. You, me, our lives, our world, this whole island universe I'm experiencing is all being created in our consciousness. How did we miss it, Adam? How did we forget? And you flip in and flip out of this awareness as you shift your frame of reference between the island and you. One moment there's the island and there's Adam over there. And then it's just radiant, vibrating pulses of consciousness coalescing into the form of your island and Adam. So you both reawaken to your true identities and how the island works. That you are your island, the vista and each other. You are the glorious sunset, the wind in the trees and the luscious mango that you've both been enjoying and sharing together. And you are savouring it, reveling in it, bowled over by it, with the overwhelming feeling of love for your creation and each other, and a deep reverence for your own creative spasm that has thrown your island into existence, out there for you and independently out there for Adam too, and then created the schism between you both so you could enjoy each other's company. As Eve, you say, "Oh my God, Adam, I am in such awe of our own creative capacity, basking in the radiance of our own being like this. I feel deeply humbled by the magnificence of the me that we both are. Gosh, it's like a holy moment, but we are the creator, and my reverence is just to the glorious, crazy creation of our incredible island, and to you and me, the magical creators of it all. And so I feel such love for you, Adam. Now I know who you are, and also such love for me too, Adam. Now I know who I am, and such love for our island, Adam. Now I know what it is. My heart is bursting with the love for all of this, Adam, and the love that is the both of us for the whole of me, which is you, me, and our reality, our island. Adam, hey, let's call this thrilling oh my God moment our Omega moment, because Omega denotes the last, the end, the ultimate limit of our old frame of reference, of island awareness. And as you both revel in and savour it, Eve says, "So Adam, what are we going to do now we know and have remembered our Omega truth?"
And Adam says, well, let's see, Eve, what are our options? We could go back into our old island awareness and get lost and forget ourselves again.
But that had become very painful. Do we really want to go back into the hardship and struggles, even though we had our good times?
Yes, it's a bit of a been there, done that, got the t-shirt feeling, isn't it? Okay, well, the second option is to step right out and become Maxi-Me in solitary confinement again.
But why? Is the game over? Have we really finished? Isn't there a joy in being on the island?
Yes, and anyway, as Maxi-Me, we wanted to have this experience, so that's why we're here. So yes, perhaps we're not done yet.
Well then, maybe there's a third way, a new level of living on our island, to remain in this Omega moment together and in Omega awareness. To step into our island from this place of wonderful remembrance of who we really are and how all of this works.
Yes, it's like we had to get lost and then look for ourselves again, isn't it? And that we're now entering the end game.
And the point is to have fun, to play and create and mould our island experience.
Yes, to really make the island our own again through remembering it's all created by our power, including the experience of each other.
So that now our island can reflect back that true relationship, and so can we in our relationship.
And so you both start to get really excited.
And Eve says, "But I'm confused, Adam. what exactly then is this island experience?
And Adam says, well, Eve, it's true. We do appear to share an island, but we know that as Maxi-Me there is no physical island out there, just your view of an island in your Mini-Me world and my view in my Mini-Me world too, both appearing side by side on our Maxi-Me mental screen. In fact, it's more like I actually have my own island in my Mini-Me awareness and you have your own island in your Mini-Me awareness too. And our two islands, our realities coincide. That is, I appear to appear on your island and you appear to appear on mine.
Because we are the same one Maxi-Me
Yes.
being, wishing to share this experience.
Exactly. And so it's not so much the island as fixed and independent and out there between us, but our island, created out of our self-same own being.
And Eve says, wow! So Adam, as we enter this endgame of our island of adventure in a spirit of celebration and remembrance, it's like a divine gift to ourselves, a sacred finale to the whole island experience that we have entered into. So Adam, my heart, just as this mango moment is so much better shared, will you join me in this sacred finale to share this Omega awareness with me now and live it out in joy on our island together?
And Adam accepts Eve's invitation with a resounding yes.
And they enjoy another Omega moment of wonder, excitement and love, and the thrill of anticipation of something great going to happen in the unfolding and celebration of their sacred finale and their new Omega awareness.
So, observing Adam and Eve's island, we see that just as you can play solo mental chess with two players, so too the island. And now, of course, it's Adam and Eve's island, making it much more real and meaningful. And a very nice little miniature universe for you to explore and enjoy. Now, as Adam and Eve, you do appear to share an island. But of course, it doesn't actually exist outside of you, independently from you. And that fact doesn't matter or detract from the enjoyment or even realism of it at all, because it becomes so captivating that you actually get lost in it all and forget who you really are and how it all works, and start thinking that your creation is separate from you and has power over you, which it then does for you. And that's not always such fun. But it does force you to search for and find your truth again, a thrilling recollection of knowledge and love that you call the Omega moment. That you are not two distinct individuals living on one island. Rather, you are both the same one being, that's Maxi-Me, living, if you like, on two distinct islands, but wishing to share that experience together, which you now are excited to explore in joy and in love as a kind of sacred finale or endgame to your whole island adventure. Phew, well, this is the culmination of all that we can know by observation, at least for now. But how does all this Adam and Eve Island apply to us? Well, there's only one small step between what we have just played out within our own mind and imagination and explaining the whole of creation, and that is the limits of consciousness itself. So now we move from knowing by observation to what I call knowing by extension, which simply means let's start with what we do know by observation and simply extend it to see where it takes us. Now, the only thing that's stopping us going further is what we might imagine are the limits of our own imagination. So let's play with taking away any preconceptions we have about any limits in consciousness. Okay, now close your eyes if you wish for our ninth and final step. Let's now imagine taking away the prison cell, the world, even your physical body, and simply float in a transcendent place of pure being, pure bliss, of undifferentiated existence, pure consciousness if you like, whole, complete, and without bounds or limits. Yet still, this is a solitary confinement. And so again you get bored and lonely, as it were, and you muse to yourself, what can I do? Now, as Maxi-Me, you already know that you can create miniature universes of games and islands with any number of players. And if there are no bounds, how far can you go with this? How rich and diverse could you make your experience? Perhaps as diverse and challenging as our experience of life on Earth? So you fill your Adam and Eve Island with many, many mini-me folk of many personalities, and so create many more opportunities to experience life on the island. And soon there are whole tribes there, and the island gets too small, so you go on to create whole nations on more islands, bigger islands, and whole continents, until you realize that now you have created a whole world of 6 billion mini-me's, with all the incredible variety of our Earth for them each to explore and enjoy. All created within your own consciousness, but all with perfect ease and no strain, because now there are no limits in your consciousness anymore. So, just expand your mind to imagine the vista you have of all of this as Maxi-Me. Gaze into all these countless mini-me's like a glittering array of mini mirrors, all laid out on your enormous, expansive mental screen, all around you, surrounding you, all reflecting back to you the light of your own consciousness. What might it look like? How about like looking into a mirror ball, where each little mirror is like a mini-me? But no, not one like this, but one that's been turned inside out, or rather outside in, like this. Look, here's one I prepared earlier. You see, it's a ball, but with the mirrors on the inside. Here, take a look into it to help give you an idea of Maxi-Me's experience of looking into all the mini-me's experiencing the idea of Earth, like inside a giant, magnificent, outside-in mirror ball. Each little mirror is a mini-me of you, and all together they hold all the different experiences of our world.
And you may close your eyes again and get a sense of this awesome array of mini-me mirrors. Admire your own creation, and yes, maybe 6 billion or more of them, and that would be a big mirror ball. And you can look into all of the mirrors at once, or just one, and you find your attention focusing right in on just one mini-me mirror, and you realize that this is actually you and your whole life and world being created in your imagination on your mental screen. And as you gaze at your world, you remember, oh my God, all of this is me. It's all my own creation. And within your mini-me experience of your world, you notice a close friend. He or she is looking at you, but now you know they are not out there at all. And you remember, oh my God, I am you too. You are me. We're both the same one me. And you feel your heart opening and expanding in love to embrace your friend and the whole of your world as your own self. And you will withdraw your attention to return right back to the center of your mirror ball and to being the Maxi-Me of the whole 6 billion mini-me's of our world again. And just for a moment, you're able to hold and embrace them all in your awareness, all sparkling in the mirror ball of your mind. Feel and know they are all you, and you are all them, that this is who you are, this is your power, and that you are the creator of it all, experiencing it all through the myriad of mini-me yous, each one a part of you, yet still completely independent. And you feel the profound connection, affection and love for each and every one of them that a parent feels for their children. For you are the father and you are the mother of the island we call our universe. Playing with creation within yourself, not just because you were bored, but simply because it's in your nature to create, and it's in your nature to relate and to use relationship to love another, to love your own creation. It's simply who you are, who we are, because we are you from another point of view, from another point of you. And as Maxi-Me, you begin to embrace the enormity of it all. Oh my God, all this idea of the world is in me, all created in my love through all my mini-me's. And gazing at this expanse, you feel that you could just go on forever. And so you let your imagination go wild, spiraling out new worlds, new galaxies, the whole of our universe. And then more and more universes without limit, even entirely new dimensions of existence, pouring out, streaming out onto your now limitless mental mirror ball as an infinity of mini mirrors in the ultimate expression of creation, light and love, all within your being.
So, by extension, this could be how reality, the world, and whole universes are conceived in imagination and conceived into existence, from where the idea of our universe and our whole living on earth game is birthed into being, radiating out in infinite rays of vibrating pulses of consciousness of our own being. This would be like the womb of our creation, and W.O.M.B, W-O.M.B, just happens to be an acronym for We're One Mirror Ball. And this is the core knowledge, that we are birthed out of our own womb, all conceived within our own consciousness. And so this is the Omega shift. This is how reality and all of us appear from your new frame of reference. This is how we start with you and fit the big picture in and around you, the universe. You see, the clue was always in the name. Now, if what we know by observation and then by extension is sufficient to explain the whole of creation, you, me, life, the universe, and everything, then why, I ask, why would you ever want to complicate it by introducing a foreign, unknowable concept or belief that we have no direct experience of, to explain it in some other way, like, well, there is this universe out there that was created by a Big Bang 14 billion years ago, when by sufficiency, as I call it, you already have a complete and gloriously simple solution that doesn't require any universe out there sitting between us in any way at all. Incidentally, for those of you already familiar with the popular many worlds interpretation in quantum physics, where the only way to account for the quirkiness of this universe is to postulate that there must be an infinite number of parallel universes, some almost identical to this one, well, you may recognize that this is, in a way, exactly the same, except that we're taking it a step further. Since there are an infinite number of universes, why, there's more than enough for us to have one each. It's neat, isn't it? And so that's the ninth and final level of our glimpse of the knowledge. Now, even though there are actually many more compelling levels to the knowledge that we go into extensively on our home-based video course, Living the Amiga Way, you may already be getting an instinctive recognition that, yes, this must most likely be mini-me experiences that we're having right now. That just like it was with Adam and Eve on their island, the big secret of enlightenment is that it's not that you and I are two distinct individuals living in and across one universe, but that we are the same one being, the same me, living in our two distinct universes. You get one, I get one, we get an entire universe each. And that all this is me. And all your entire experience of our world is all you. And we are enjoying this moment right now because we are both the same one being, wishing to share the same idea of our world together now and in love. And that this is the new frame of reference that's uniquely and wholly based personally around you. And that clearly shows that there is a real possibility that we are one mirrorball. So, we've had our taste of the Amiga shift, an insight into the big secret, and maybe even a little Omega oh my god moment of enlightenment for you too.
Now, we said that this shift can begin to answer all of life's big questions. Actually, it can be ridiculously easy to explain things.
Let's take just one example. You know how sometimes when people phone us we say, "Oh, how odd, I was just thinking about you. Maybe it's telepathy." But what's that? Thought waves flowing around the world? But as soon as we refer back to our new frame of reference, don't you think that, as Mini-Me Adam say, you might just know what you as Mini-Me Eve is thinking, seeing as they are both the same one being, both you? You see, the fact that as Adam you can know what Eve is thinking is really not the miracle. The miracle is that as Adam you don't know.
So, whenever you want an answer, just ask it from Mini-Me Adam or Eve's point of view, or Maxi-Me's, and you should find the answer easy and obvious.
Now, you may want to take a break and let all this integrate for a while before continuing with the final wrap-up of our presentation, with some more very important conclusions and how to take the Amiga shift forward and into your life.
Living in Amiga awareness, and join in with us for the sacred finale of our life together on Earth in the Amiga way.
See you in a mo for the Amiga shift wrap-up. Welcome back. What a journey.
Hasn't it been impressive?
We have played with the big secret of enlightenment
By shifting our entire frame of reference for reality,
from being misdirected to the one shared universe out there,
right around to you, and the realization that we really could be the same one me.
each with our own very personal but very real universe appearing within our own consciousness.
That rather magically all coincide so that we can enjoy this idea of our universe together.
Now, you may ask, is this really such a big secret? That we don't live in and share the same one universe?
How can we say no one has been talking about this?
Haven't the wise ones been teaching this forever?
Well, if you listen to what's being said, you'll always hear the universe and how you fit in, and almost never our universe and how you personally are creating it all.
You see, explanations are always centered around the big picture of the universe. Either the universe just made itself in a big bang somehow,
Or the creator made the universe somehow.
or even that the infinite spirit of I made the universe, but somehow as an illusion.
But these ideas are never centered simply, wholly and personally on you as having conceived it all.
Now, imagine yourself again as a mini-me experiencing our island and looking into our eyes as new arrivals, Mini-Me John and Mini-Me Maggie.
And you are reminding us of what's really going on with our island adventure.
Would you really say and talk about the island, as if it were bigger than the three of us, sitting between us in some way.
Or that it was made by the Creator, as if Maxi-Me were somehow different from us all, and that we weren't in charge at all.
Or that it was just a great illusion, as if we hadn't decided to enjoy its reality, its very physicality.
But you may well say, come on, join in, Maggie. Remember, this is our island, our universe. It is our joint creation. We can each take full ownership for our island, our reality, seeing as we are the same one being, the same Maxi-Me, creator of it all.
Now, in science, the physical universe is often said to mysteriously arise from a self-created Big Bang, from which consciousness eventually, and again mysteriously, arises in you and I. But when the Big Bang is seen instead as simply an explosion in consciousness, from which the idea of our physical universe arises through each one of us, then we can see that to focus solely on the universe out there is like chasing your own tail. You're never really going to catch it, but you can have a lot of fun trying.
And the religious view is that even though God is omnipresent or present everywhere, he somehow made the universe and all of us outside of himself, which seems like a pretty clever trick. But as Mini-Me, you are able to make the island appear outside yourself in order to enjoy this experience. And remembering you are Maxi-Me is indeed to recognize that you are not just a child of God. You are indeed God himself or herself.
Absolutely. Now, often in spiritual enlightenment traditions, not only is the universe just an illusion, but also the infinite self or I witness within is said to be your only true identity because it's the only aspect that's unchanging. But if we asked you, as Mini-Me Adam or Eve say, who are you truly? You would never just say, I am I. You'd simply answer, me, I am me. You see, both Maxi-Me and Mini-Me, there's only ever, in fact, me. And out of that me arises both the idea of being a Mini-Me on an island and the I that's witnessing it all. So it's not that the I is primary, it's actually just me. And of course, simultaneously, we. And too much focus on just the I is like a coin trying to be just heads. Now, we understand that what we are pointing out here may well be considered almost, if not certainly, a heresy by some. But the beauty of this is you don't have to listen to them, and you don't have to take our word for it either.
Having had this glimpse, you get to decide for yourself, with both your mind and your heart, how everything appears when centered totally around you first.
And we don't mind what's true for you. It's just been our joy to have had this opportunity to invite you to play with it, and we thank you. Now, this is the end of our introduction to the big secret of enlightenment and our taster experience of the Omega shift.
And of course, this shift is just so huge and the implications are so staggering, not just for our personal lives, but also globally for our world, that it's really only the beginning.
And so, in this final section, we would love to simply invite you to join us in sharing this sacred finale with some initial pointers for how you can apply the Omega shift in 3 areas by, number 1, you yourself starting to shift.
Number 2, sharing the shift with others.
And number 3, signing up for our course, Living the Omega Way. So, number 1, first, you can already play with shifting into these Omega moments anytime you like.
By simply contemplating your new Omega frame of reference.
So, for example, if you are beholding a beautiful sunset or gazing into the stars, you can spread your arms and awareness wide and simply remember who you are and exclaim, oh my God, what if all this really is all me? Let me sense that the love and the connection for the whole of who I am, for the whole of me.
Or, if you're facing a challenging situation or crisis, you can still contemplate your creation in awe. oh my God, maybe this is all me. And even in this intensity, gosh, I can feel the love for it all, the whole of me. And I wonder what I might be revealing to myself here.
And then, if you're gazing into the eyes of a loved one, or anyone, you can fall into the moment and see how it feels to say, oh my God, you are me, I am you. I feel the love that is the both of us, and for the whole of the me that we are. Even if they are confronting you or being rotten to you, you can always just say it to yourself.
The idea is not to replace what works for you already, but to complement it by beginning to play with the shift.
Like starting to say our universal world instead of the universal world, and even to say me or we and so on instead of the infinite or God.
And see how far diving into and embracing and playing with the whole of our reality takes you towards creating a joyous and fulfilling life for yourself in each and every moment.
And even if you don't actively experiment with shifting like that, you may still find that subtle changes are going on, or that you just can't seem to get it out of your mind. It's okay. Just give it time and see where it takes you.
And you can, of course, review this presentation as often as you like. There's an awful lot packed into it, and you'll discover something new and different every time.
Now, although there's no time to go into detail, let's at least introduce you to 10 of the more radical and perhaps controversial implications of the big secret that we explore in depth on our Living the Amiga Way home-based video course. Okay, so in rapid fire, number 1, there's nothing wrong with whatever's happening right now. In fact, there's everything right about it. It's perfect.
Since you're here, then this is your destination right now, not some future achievement or inaccessible enlightened state.
As Maxi-Me, you only ever experience reality at all through the mini-me's of you and me.
So, this is what it feels like to be God. This is the Creator's experience. And so number 2, just because it's created in your imagination doesn't mean our world is not real.
Your consciousness is clever enough to make it absolutely as good as real for you.
Because you're wanting to have this physical reality experience, not to escape from it.
Like Adam and Eve did not want to jump straight back into being Maxi-Me in solitary confinement, even when they remembered they had created the island as their playground.
The whole point is to enjoy our world as real and to throw yourself into life, living creatively, ecstatically and productively each and every moment.
And so, play the role you've given yourself as Mini-Me for all your worth, but now of course in Amiga awareness, if you like.
Remembering that number 3, you are already fully empowered.
Looking outside yourself or beyond yourself for things to save you or give you power, such as to God or to spirit, to money or a partner, or even to your inner self, is actually always a form of disempowerment.
As you forget that you set it all up and gave its apparent power in the first place.
Which means that number 4, despite appearances, you are actually in control. Since you are the creator of it all, you can take 100% responsibility for your entire reality experience, even globally.
And that if people or events are challenging you, you are of course never a victim. It's only because at some level you have invited them in.
And so they are serving you in some way to help you pursue your adventure.
So number 5, you can find your joy and fulfillment right now in all your problems and situations of your life, no matter how challenging.
Rather than feeling you have to solve all your problems or change your situation to find happiness.
Which paradoxically then frees you to use number 6, the law of attraction, to manifest anything you want and create the life of your dreams, so long as...
Number A, you truly do want it at all levels of your being. That is, you also want it as Maxi-Me.
And it's helping you discover and express your own valuable and unique contribution to our world. And B, you're living in the joy of that dream right now Again, not putting your happiness on hold for it.
And C, you're taking action from that place of joy.
And finally, it really helps to understand number 7, exactly how we can all be completely free to create our own reality without ever compromising or stepping on each other's toes.
This paradox is resolved in a stunning revelation at the heart of Living the Amiga Way follow-up course, which incredibly finally solves the age-old dilemma of free will versus determinism.
And shows us precisely how we are all working together to create not just a life, but a whole world of our dreams.
Now, number 8, funny one this one. The ego is good. Yeah, let's stop giving our poor old ego a hard time.
It's only a problem when it stops short of identifying with the whole of who you are. You see, you're not very, very small. You're not nothing. You are everything.
Contrary to established Enlightenment wisdom, the big secret is that we are actually not like individual waves on a single shared ocean of consciousness or whatever,
but that we are the same one being, each creating an entire ocean or universe within our own consciousness.
And so, you can cherish your ego and extend it to become identified with the whole of your ocean or our universe, and with all of us who appear in it, with the unique all this is me omega awareness. And all of which means that number 9, you can now honor and love everything in your life as your own self.
You know, it's fabulous to recognize and celebrate how supremely great you are, creating all of this out of your own being, as long as you're honoring and loving exactly the same magnificence in others too, and in the entirety of your reality. And finally, number 10, the whole experience of our consciousness is creating our realities in itself is absolutely brilliant.
That your whole universe is being crystallized into physicality in your own vibrating, gorgeous consciousness in a dynamic display of self-radiance is one of the greatest delights of true enlightenment, and which we take you into deeply on the Living the Amiga Way course. And by the way, Sacred Finale is a complete anagram of self-radiance.
And the second way of joining us for the Sacred Finale is that you will naturally want to invite others to share the Amiga shift with you.
Because just as you can enjoy a great mango on your own, it is far better to share those mango moments with others. And even though we may not be sharing a single universe out there between us, you are certainly not alone. Our experience is very much of sharing our reality together, isn't it?
So, in a way, the Sacred Finale is all about sharing the joy and passion of Amiga awareness with more and more people, and eventually with our whole world.
How? Well, first by living and radiating Amiga as a shining example yourself.
You'll naturally inspire and attract others who would love to share some Amiga moments with you.
And also, of course, you can actively share this video.
Simply pass on the link and your heartfelt invitation to everyone that you'd love to share some of these secrets, if not Amiga moments with.
Now, don't try to explain it all yourself. People just won't get it.
Just say it's something you'd love them to experience too.
And of course, there's no need to worry if it's not to their liking. You don't actually need them to shift too to enjoy your own Amiga awareness.
Remembering that their idea and experience of reality is just as equal and valid and true as yours, or mine, or anybody's.
So, now it's time to say farewell, friends.
Thank you again for giving us this opportunity to share our passion with you.
And don't forget, when you were told you think the whole world revolves around you, they were right. It does. It's just that you are the whole and we are all you too.
And when you live and radiate that truth, you will be including and embracing everything and everyone in your heart and seeing that same greatness in them too.
So, Have fun now playing with this secret of enlightenment.
as you use it to help you find your own totally unique and awesome expression in life, and which to some actually heralds a dimensional shift in our entire world consciousness.
We look forward to seeing you again
On Living the Omega Way course.
Don't forget now, the secret of enlightenment is to know that you are a supreme being. In fact, we are all the supreme being.
We honor you and thank you for simply being who you are.
Bye for now.
And I love to you.
See you soon.